Hi there, everybody. I'm AJ Carey, and I'm recording this after the mess of what you're just about to hear. So, I just want to say, please go and support Smut number one. It is a not safe for work slice of life comedy, as is one of my favorite not safe for work genres. It's smutty. It's called Smut. What's more, look at that. Okay? Every type of person you want. Look at that cover. That's a hot cover. Okay? It's good. It's great. Wells Thompson has actually done really good. I really want that pin. Okay? You've got your muscle mommies. You've got whoever the hell Lance is. I think he's the guy he's the shirtless guy on the cover. You've got Jess. You've got Rita. You've got rewards. Actually, uh I think I no one needs to know what I selected, but the point is honestly, Wells Thompson is a phenomenal writer, and you should always support the people you want. The people you like and the people whose writing you like. Because ultimately, this is where we are as a society. It sucks, but it's true. People, creatives, are in an uphill battle with being able to demonstrate their work the best. I back Pat Shand, I back Wells, and you should too. Again, plus look at this. This is hot. This is what you devianted pervert lack. I know, I am one. Also, I make the joke devianted preverts. It's a Doctor Strangelove joke that I just like stealing, okay? Okay. Now I'm gonna go back to being unhinged. I have to leave in 20 minutes to take a 31-hour drive to go get my son. So everybody, go enjoy your smut. And yes, I should have muted my phone, but you will hear it go off a lot. Okay, love you guys. Have fun. And please, back smut. And tell Wells that you backed him to shut me up. Are you going? Okay, you are going. Hello and welcome to what is probably going to be one of my weirder episodes. I haven't done a weird episode in forever. So, hello, I am AJ Carey, the comic archivist, and well, just a spoiler warning. I originally made this at 3 a.m. on Friday morning, and then I got an emergency call from a friend who needed me to pick them up and their stuff up from Ohio. So I finished up this real quick and then I immediately went to Ohio, which means that I honestly don't remember half of what's on this slideshow. And yes, I use Google Slides primarily because I was making it's not a troll, it's just me being weird in a manicky kind of way, my ADHD. But fair warning, this is mostly for fun. It is kind of a review of many, many not safe for work comic books. So, viewer discretion is advised. Uh yes, I this is a procrastination, and I also do blame Anne Reid's comics and several other people because this is very much my. Oh wow, I had to open up my secret long box. And for anyone who grew up in a pre internet porn age, you know what Daddy's special little secret box is. But yes, I'm the comic archivist, and that means that we are doing a list. Bay. Why a tier list? I don't know. And why am I don't know why I'm doing any of this, and I don't even remember what I had on here. So I can remember some of what's on here because this is going to be just stupid. I know this is I don't remember what was on here. I just have not slept since the 16-hour. Sorry, I did get a 4-hour nap in. And then in 2 hours, my time, I'm going to be driving to Tennessee to pick up my son as is visitation rights. But we're not getting into that because, yeah, And my phone's still on. Cool. Okay, so this is a not safe for work thing, so please, oh please, if you are under the age of 18, don't watch this. Wink. The wink is, of course, this is probably already age restricted on YouTube, but none of these. Actually, I don't think not none of these, because some of these are tangential. None of these are straight up porn. Okay, there's no Tracy Scops on here, no Slip Slide. Although Rock Cox is fucking phenomenal. Um, Alfie is phenomenal. Metamorphosis, for you manga fans, is disgusting and makes you feel no good ways, but it's also a really good read. One of those sorts of comics that you will always feel squiggy about. If you get off on it, that's on you, but that's not on me. Right. So, tier list. First and foremost, no DEs and Fs. None of what I'm about to talk about are going to be one of those they suck, suck, suck. They are all going to be, at very least, C. They are at least passing. Now, some of you guys, and I'm even going to tell y'all a secret. There is only one comic on here that is actually a C. And first, before we even start doing the tier, we're going to go Bizarre Sex, Black Kiss, Blue is the Warmest Color, Concrete Park, Debbie Does Comics, Lost Girls, Menage 3, My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness, Omaha the Cat Dancer, Only Friends with Pen, Sex Criminals, Sex, Safe Sex or SFSX, Sky Doll, Small Favors, Somna, The Beast and Snow, The Cute Girl Network, The Pro, Unnatural, Walk Me to the Corner, and Yes Roja. Now, again, all of these are going to be their own thing, right? First up, Bizarre Sex. Bizarre Sex is comics hardcore. Comics with an X is pretty much what indie comics were called. There was a special, I want to say subgenre, but subgenre is not technically the word. It's almost like indie comics. It wasn't indie comics in a, oh, Image Comics is putting it out, or even now it'd be just a matter of like a dude on Kickstarter is putting out these comics. That would be more akin to what Comics with an X was. Although they are also a little bit more hardcore and cringy and grimy, cringy, whatever you want to talk. Peter Bag, if you've ever seen the movie Fritz the Cat, that is based off of, I don't think it's from Bizarre Sex. I think, uh, I can't remember which of these, because they are pretty much anthology books, and Bizarre Sex is weird and sexy if you can't tell by that cover, which is just a space farmer. Okay, there's nothing weird about this. Incidentally, one of my favorite animes is Blue Gender. Okay, but anyways, where did I put that on the tier list? It is in B. Okay. I think I can justify this without being insane. It's good. That's it. Because it's an anthology, it's a matter of, sometimes the story will be really funny or really engaging. And other times it's, okay, so you just couldn't get this porn in any other little Tijuana Bible. But with that, the next one is kind of the polar opposite. Black Kiss by Howard Chaykin is it is not my favorite. Okay? However, I am a full sucker for the noir aesthetic. For anyone else, it'd be like Sin City is a noir aesthetic, although Frank Miller's artwork on that, although I don't think it was Frank Miller who actually drew it, or I'm thinking about the Dame to Kill For or whatever the other ones are. Point is, Black Kiss is good. It is a noir that has sex in it and murder and all the fun stuff without being about sex. So I think I gave it an A, but I could be wrong. Okay, I put it in B. Again, it is worth a read. I know there are two other sequels out for it, but Black Kiss 2 and 3. And honestly, I have the entire collection. It's really good. I'm shocked I didn't put it. What else did I put in A then? Because, again, it's a really solid book. It does nothing really unique. Like some of the ones on there, I know I have them in S tier because they do go extra miles. But let's see. Next is going to be blue is the warmest color. And no, I'm not going to say that in French because uh, I'm not good at French. Anyone who's listened to Killing 15 Minutes knows I'm not good at any language, including English. Blue is the warmest color is controversial with an asterisk. The biggest reason that it's one, uh, everyone I knew loved this comic before the movie came out because the movie was directed by a man, and while there are sex, while Blue is the warmest color is all about the lesbian experience, as in a woman finding love with a woman, among other things, it is one of those books that it is specifically designed as a character piece. So read it. Me explaining it's never gonna match the same emotions. And there's a couple of those that are on this list that do the same thing. But because the movie came out, a lot of people saw the movie, then read the comic, and the movie how can I say this without sounding like one of them deviated preverts? Uh it's got a lot of really nice lesbian sex scenes. But the reason I say that is because they are totally framed in the male gaze to essentially be high end porn. Not even high end. Honestly, if you slapped a VHS filter over this movie, I could totally see it being a late 70s softcore, well, actually hardcore movie akin to like, one of those like Deep Throat. The movie Deep Throat, okay? I'm going to age myself on this one. Where obviously it's meant to be cinema porn, but not to be confused with cinematic porn. It is a porn movie to be seen in theaters and then have that, oh well, it's not smut, I saw it at the movie. I saw it on the marquee. But because of that, blue is the warmest color actually got knocked down like on a commercial on a comic book level because suddenly it became all about, oh, is the movie more exploitative, or because it's framed through the male gaze, it actually hinders the lesbian experience, stuff like that. Short answer, it became too complicated of a discussion point that a lot of people stopped really talking about it. The book is good though. So I think I put it at an A because again it is a really good book. And yes, I know I'm kind of trying to justify what I said 3 days ago tired or yesterday tired, but bear with me. This is the worst episode of anything I've ever put out, including the stuff I did a decade ago. Next up, we have Concrete Park. Okay, I only read Concrete Park because it was suggested to me when I was on my Twitter being like, what other smut can I put on this? Because I'm in a frisky, playful mood. No, I'm not frisky, but I'm in a playful mood, so let's do some smut review. Haven't done this since Red Light Renegades. Now, Concrete Park, I've only read volume 1, and it's good. Is it great? I know a lot of people say it is, and even the person who sent it to me was like, it's got everything. It's got action, it's got heart, it's got really nice sex scenes, and you know what? That is all there. It is all there. But for me, to bump it to like, it is the best thing ever, you need to have, and S tiers will always be, because I always hate doing any sort of grading scale when it comes to numbers, letters, or star ratings because it's like so subjective. A's means on a universal level, that is definitely something worth reading. And I believe I put this at B. Okay, apparently I was wrong. Let's put this one as an addendum to it's an A. Anyone who can read it, read it. It's really good. But on a general level, I think similar to Black Kiss, it does it has less of a universal appeal of, even the dudes who love their action will love it, or the people who come in because they want something like my lesbian experience with loneliness, which I'll get to. There's so much deviation. Like, this is what it is. It's like wanting to go into an action movie and then getting, I don't know. Okay, I'm trying to justify this one. Pretend I made that an A. Because apparently it stuck with me a lot longer than, what was the next one? Debbie does that. Debbie does comics. I know, on a personal level, if this list was legitimately me trying to go, what comics mean to me, Debbie Does Comics would be an S tier. It's not. Basically, it's the movie Debbie Does Dallas, except the comic adaptation, and framed as a comic book thing. It's actually quite nice. It is fun parody, satire, and, a lot of people who take comics way too seriously will not like this, but that happens with a lot of comics because some of y'all take comics way too goddamn seriously. And that says something because of comics like Blue is the Warmest Color or some of the ones coming up where, as a biography or even not a biography, but just a story being told, they are serious pieces. But it's comics. It's sort of like taking Shakespearean plays and thinking, oh, that's exactly how life was. Of course Denmark has tigers. Mantua, why wouldn't that have a port? Or I switched those two. I think it's Denmark. I don't remember. But yeah, it's sometimes comics are fun. However, I think I would have put it at a B if I'm smart because it really is, it does nothing special. It is just special to me because it was one of the first smut comics I ever read because it was in my father's collection of 70s and 80s Playboy comics. It was his secret long box. By the way, I do also have a very nice selection from 1977 and 1984 of Playboys. I read them for the articles, thank you very much. That's how I learned that the razor wasn't invented until like 1997. Where did I put it? Okay, I did put it at B. Again, for exactly what I said. But then we have things like Lost Girls. Everyone, everyone in the comic community who is a comic reader has something to say about Lost Girls, and I'm no different. I'll get to it as soon as it is a C. It is a solid C. Okay? I know a lot of people trash it. I know a lot of people are like, it's disgusting, it's terrible, it's not. Okay? It is mid. The only reason it isn't low, like if the artwork was worse, it would be a D or an E or an F or burn it to the ground. If the writing wasn't Alan Moore being weird, because like everyone knows Alan Moore, everyone knows Alan Moore. You either know him from Hell, V for Vendetta, Swamp Thing. Actually, Swamp Thing is really good. There's so much that people know him from, and there's an assumption based on the fact that he looks like Rasputin. That seeing him have a little bit of fun is almost like watching Crispin Glover try to have fun. You know? Like, just the sheer basis of, hey, this is Alan Moore writing smut fanfic for several public domain characters is an alluring thing. The problem is the execution is mid at best. The artwork is really nice though. And there's actually a couple frames of it that I would really love to see as a poster. None of the sex stuff. It's not that gratuitous compared to a lot of the ones on this list, but it is It's big enough that everyone has a talk on it, so it has to be on the list. If I didn't want to talk about it, I wouldn't. Who knows? Maybe there might be a binging on comics episode about that. Apparently, I had it spinning. I don't know how Google Slides work. I'm 34. I know how to use PowerPoint. Okay, next is Menage a 3. And this is actually a relatively new pull on my list, only because um I want to say they were doing a Kickstarter 5 or 6 years ago. And I got the 10 volumes and two of the spin-off, or at least a similar comic, all in the manga digest sized. And that's where I fell in love with. Literally, one of the first jokes in there involves Dazzler, and it's amazing. Like, it has the Archie style, which is simple but effective. It's got all the drama. It's got boobs for anyone who wants sex in there. There is sex, but you get the characters, and that is why, honestly, I was really glad that I got like the first 10 volumes. I think it might have been a Smut Peddler. I don't know. Now I'm gonna have to look back and see where I got it, because I also, for the longest time, had the stickers on the back of my first work laptop. And I believe the second one I also used the last of it. But Menage 3, epic. If I didn't put this as an S ranking, then it's an A. And it's an A. Again, I think it's because the art style, again, is perfect for what it's going for. It is, on a personal level, it's an S. Overall, I would have to say it's an A. And now we get to the one that made me realize maybe I truly am a lesbian. Not just a lapsed vegetarian. But my lesbian experience with loneliness is a manga that I'm trying to figure out the best way to phrase it. It is raw, but never in the way that makes you want. There's actually moments in it that make you go, and it might actually make you cry, depending on where you are on the gauge. Because while it's my lesbian experience with loneliness, it also really depends. Like it is a perfect example of loneliness universally. For instance, the worst way to phrase it is that, honestly, if you took the lesbian out, made it a dude, you know, talking about his, heterosexual experience with loneliness, it'd play out roughly the same way, minus some of the obvious like the obvious things, like where she's like, wow, the boobies make me really hotter than, yep, that's a naked guy. Stuff like that. It's it's ultimately, it's another one of those, you gotta read it to believe it. And if I didn't put it on A tier, I'm gonna travel to the or if I didn't put it on S, I'm gonna travel into the past and punch myself in the dick. See, there we go. I don't know why I'm like this. I'm sorry. This video could have been something special, but now it's just me being weird as weird can be. And I'm okay with that. Also, I am sorry, halfway through, I am sorry about the audio. I don't know if this mic is even registering. I'm having an issue getting the mics to mic right now. So, the next one is controversial. Omaha the Cat Dancer is Anthro, and there's one or two on other ones on here that, well, actually, I think there's only one other one, but we'll get to that. Omaha the Cat Dancer is special to me, and it's actually the reason I have a few issues of Bizarre Sex, or started my collection of Bizarre Sex, because it started as a strip, or not strip, but a collection in those, and then became its own book later on. It's another one of those, there's drama. It is a soap opera wholeheartedly, that also just involves, it's it's soaps, but they didn't cut out the sex scenes. It's You get to see them, and I know then you're going to be like, "Oh, but the furries." Yes. art is subjective, my dudes, but art doesn't care whether you're horny for the cats or not. Me personally, I've never been one to get off on this one, but it has always been one of those that stuck to my head a lot, and probably why I enjoy Tales so much. However, the biggest reason it's controversial is that a former previous there was a YouTuber on here for a while that unfortunately had this as one of their favorite books while they were also grooming children and such like that. That I'm not getting into a lot, but it has actually been something that I've gotten pushback on anytime I've said Omaha is one of those books that made me love not superhero comics and made me real. It's the book that made me expand that, wow, comics don't have to be about the capes and cowls proud. And you could. Why is my phone blowing up so much? Ugh, cool. So, yes, it is one of those books that. And I think a lot of people have, like, because even with, like, God Loves Man Kills from the X-Men, that is probably the first book that made me go, oh my God, the X-Men and comics and superheroes can do so much more. You know, this is one of those books, and just because of where it came at my developmental level of reading comics, because again, this is also one of the ones that was in the no-no box, and I've been in love with it ever since. I'm, I would say it's an A, because it doesn't do anything super, like, let's find out. If I'm being disingenuous, it's an S. If I'm being honest and truthful on a comic level, it's an A. The answer is, it's an A. See? I'm ingenuous. Only Fans with Pen #1 just came out. Last month or 2 months ago it came out. I backed it because Pat Shand is a writer that I've been in love with since I did a first issues on his Robin Hood run from Zenoscope, and then I found out he was also the guy who wrote Threshold, which was like, oh my god, yeah, okay, he's the guy who wrote the Charmed season 8 comics, but hey, the writing wasn't the problem on those, mostly. But he's also become the person, one of like the key people to back on Kickstarter. Cheeky Comics just dropped as a company, and they've already had really good knockouts. So please check out what they're doing right now. But anyways, only friends with Pen is about someone who does live streams online and her relationship with a specific guy. Now, I don't want to spoil anything because going into this knowing, okay, it's just going to be about a streamer and a relationship she has is so much better than knowing the plot going in, because it is one of those things where the emotion, not knowing what's going to happen next, the emotion rides with you, or you get ridden along by the emotions. However, the one thing I will spoil is a book that has someone asking someone to marry them by hiding the ring in their taint should not also make me feel the feels later on. That is not what should happen. And that is why this should be an S. Yes, yes. Okay. Also, Pat, you're amazing. Let's do lunch sometime. Now then, probably the #1 on this list that is an obvious answer for anyone, even none of you who read smut comics, like 90% of the ones on here, some of y'all have never heard about. And that's fine. But everyone who's been in the comic scene over the last, 8 years ish knows Sex Criminals. It was Chip Zdarsky on art, I believe. I believe he actually was co-writer for it. But point is, this is the thing that made Chip Zdarsky a name, and it's amazing. It is funny. It is sexy. Uh, there is there is a lot of, like, hell, even if you just look at the backgrounds for one, and I wish I had my old account because I I shared a lot about sex criminals. They had a Game of Thrones chair made out of fucking dildos. Not to be used, just there in the background, and it's funny. But that's it. Basically, the entire premise sets up why it can work. Okay? This girl, when she gets off, freezes time. But then she meets a dude who also, he's got a magical glowing dick that when he gets off, then time freezes, and that is the crux of the thing, and it's hijinks ensues, and it's great. I really don't. Everyone said everything about this. If you don't think it's going to be an S tier, that's on you. Now, sex. Joe Casey. I. This is a split book for me because, on one hand, I kind of hate parts of it. The art style is actually really good for me. It's, but it's also very basic. The lettering, I legitimately dislike the lettering sometimes because they try and make it kind of artistic, so it takes you out of a lot of flowing scenes or even being invested in dialogue because your brain sucks you out of it and goes, "What the hell is that word?" But otherwise, I also don't actually care about the premise. There's a well, that's not true. I like this book because ultimately the main character I can identify with, and that is not me saying I like him or he's a good character. A lot of people keep forgetting that being able to identify with the shitbag does not mean you endorse the shitbag. But he uses sex almost as a coping mechanism for all the things that have gone wrong in his life as well as all the good things. There's actually a really good scene where he's in a bunny booth. That's where he gets to watch women masturbate, touch them, and that's when they start showing the flashback to his mother and everything. And it's a very okay, sorry about that. That just stopped. But anyways, there's a scene where, he's in the bunny booth and, he's it's not him thinking of sex in a sexual way, but in almost a way that I think a lot of people who I think the best way to phrase it to be analytical, and I know I'm bringing down the buzz because this is supposed to be me being fucking wacky. A lot of people use sex without thinking sexually. For instance, it's yeah, even fuck it, I'll go with the most common right now, Stellar Blade. Okay, well, she has jiggle physics. Oh man, she's cute. Okay, does that affect the gameplay at all? No. Will they actually fap to the game while playing it? No. But because sex is so linked in with their mind that it has to be sexual. For instance, I've been, I was told because I sided with a woman online, or because I turn around and say, hey, don't be creepy to people online, that they're not gonna fuck you, bro. Well, I don't care if they do, because I'm a 34-year-old balding dude with 3 kids, 4 failed engagements in his life. I ain't looking. Not that I won't say no, not that I won't say no, but not that I'll say no, but I'm not looking, and also several of them are lesbians. It's, but because sex is so ingrained in them that anything that is non sexual frightens them. Or it doesn't click on any level. It's the friend zone versus friend zone debate. Is there a friend zone? Yes, because people aren't owed sex for being nice. You know what I mean? It's like, yes, the friend zone exists. No, it's not something you can be banished into. It is the default. Unless you're me, but that's its own can of worms. And you are not my therapist, computer, that people are watching me on, I'm assuming, I'm hoping. It's great. Everyone who came in on Then and Now is going to turn around and be like, he's actually insane. Yes, this is also why I don't do unscripted shows. So, anyways, I'm going to say that I put this at an A, although I put it at an A because, again, it is one of those things where the plot itself is good, but on me personally, I think the secondary, subtext of looking at the character study is much more interesting than the plot going forward. And next we have SFSX, or Safe Sex. This is the book I tell people to read if for sex positivity, taking down anti-authoritarian establishments. No, I don't just use fascism because fascism's just right-leaning when totalitarian and authoritarianism can be universal. I think it's authoritarianism is more left, totalitarianism's more universal, but that's not the point. The point is that essentially people are using their degeneracy. It's a kink club trying to take down the government, and I love it. And honestly, I want to say more, but I am definitely because I am bringing back binging on comics as a show because there's a lot of smaller comics I want to talk about or smaller run comics that I think reader's history only really worked for giant reads, Hey, I'm going to read the entire history of Catwoman is a great reader's history. But binging, although technically it could have been a binging on comic. The point is, I'm tired. And I've got an hour until I have to take a 31-hour round trip. So, safe sex, definitely read it and practice it. Contrary to popular belief, pull-out method does not protect against STIs or STDs if you're over the age of 30. I believe I put this as an A, but I think it might be an S also. Like it really rides the line, so I could see it being either one. Okay, S it is. I have not thought about sex doll or sky doll. Freudian slip. I have not thought about sky doll in a very long time, and the only thing that reminded me of it was the fact that I was going through my secret long box, and I was like, "Why do I have a Marvel book in here?" Okay, I understand locking Trouble or Marvel up in a box, but that's got to be Jumanji'd into the ocean. You lock that shit up and you just throw it. Jacques Cousteau that. But the reason for Skydoll is Skydoll isn't porn. It doesn't even really have a lot of gratuitousness. It is just completely insane with how insane it is. Huh, I guess I don't have an hour. My sister just walked up. Apparently we're leaving shortly, so it's time to speed around this. Skydoll, definitely give it a look out. There is a sequel for it that I haven't read, but there's a lot of good allegorical stuff. They talk about God, they talk about sex, and even the design of Noah, the chick on the cover, the robot chick on the cover, is meant to be more sensual, and it's really cool that way. I almost actually made this list 95% Eros covers, and Milo Manala or Manara like almost made this list, made this solely based on Eros comics, and I might actually do a publisher's history on that because Eros comics is phenomenal. For instance, another one that almost made this that I just remember right now is called Birdland, which is also really good, and I know a few sites have pointed it out as a super favorite. Gotta read it. But Small Favors is good. I like it. Um, again, I'm being hushed up, so check it out. I believe um, Small Favors had a forward in it, and I can't remember by who. But Colleen Coover does really good there. Somna, first and foremost, Distillery Comics or Distillery has been knocking it out of the park. I have not seen I have when Aftershock started, it did phenomenal for its first few runs. TKO Presents is still one of my tops. Distillery has reached the point where I'm like, their batting average right now is good as gold. But again, they don't have a giant line, so they haven't hit that one that made me go, okay, maybe they're not the best thing on the planet, but we're still at the honeymoon stage, so get it. Somna, honestly, Becky Cloonan on anything is top marks for me, and Somna's worth it. However, for anyone listening, go bug Anne and ask her why Somna is, in fact, the best. It was her choice for the one. This is actually also the comic that started this whole thing because um, she made a joke about how, Batman doesn't have sex, that's why she enjoys other things. Someone asked, what's your favorite? Of the list, this was the number one. So yeah, go bug her. Calamity Cat and Philly Falco have a comic out and it's got boobs. Of course, I was going to add it to the list. I love it. I love them. Giacchetto, or Giacchetto? Giacchetto? I assume Giacchetto. Zart is also really nice. I, again, am biased. I backed it. Again, Cat Calamia, Calamity Cat, and Phil Falco, Philly Phil is really one of my favorite indie writers right now. And like Father Like Daughter, Haunting, of course. The newest one is, I don't remember it off the top of my head, but basically it's take your kid. None of those are none of those are NSFF, not safe for work. Anyways, but this was their first one and it works really well. Witches of Oz just, I think it finished, or go look it up. I don't know if the thing's done yet, but also not safe for work, and you get to see green titties in that. That's always a nice one. But their newest one that was just announced, I don't think it's out. Their campaign is not going yet. I will have it linked. This as well as Pat Shand. I'm gonna link all of those. But I think I put it at an A. Again, because it is one of those things where I know I'm biased, but it's really good. It's really, the secret is it's really easy to be A tier in one issue, you know? And also, I have all of the covers, so I love them all. Shit. Did I get a metal cover? I think so. Did they offer one is the question. I don't know. I will investigate that later. Okay, so the Cute Girl Network is quite literally the Cute Girl Network. It is basically the plot is small town local girl network, the Cute Girl Network, and this guy's adventures throughout it. But what I like about it, if I'm being honest, it's probably a B. I might have put it in A. Let's find out. Okay, is because it never reaches an emotional point, very much like Omaha or Blue or anything in S tier, but it is still really good. The art style, there's something special about the art style. It's hard to pinpoint because I don't think it ever tries to be sexy insofar as, you know, 90% of the books that I've covered there, or even will cover, has a moment that goes, look at me. Oh my god, I didn't add Sunstone to the list. Sorry. So, Two Girl Network, it's really good, it's fun, it's nice, it's light. It never tries to be sexy, sexy. Like there's some in between. It almost comes off like it was trying to. There are some sexy moments. I don't know. Okay, Next up on this stupid tier list of stupid is The Pro by Garth Ennis, Amanda Connor, and Jimmy Palmiotti on art. Uh, don't let the cover confuse you. You could totally see this as a really bad DC Earth where Power Girl became a hooker and had a kid out of wedlock. And it's so 2000s grime with it, but I love it. That's all I can say. Like, check out my Twitter. I talk about it a little bit more, but short answer is it is gross in some points. It is stupid. It is short. Actually, it's not that short. I think it's 50 some odd pages. But I love it, and it was one of the first not safe for work things I bought. It was Garth Ennis doing his Garth Eniness, which also is another perfect example of why Garth Ennis is better than Mark Miller. Fight me, bro. But read it. It's good. Warning, she pees on a bad guy. Unnatural. Also phenomenal. Safe sex, but in an anthro world. Well, okay, that's not true. Basically, it uses animals in a phenomenal means of being able to go, talk about racial relations, government control over sexual reproduction. There is a lot of commentary wrapped up in what is essentially a pig girl having dreams about a wolf boy. And by boy, I mean he's a man. And all of you yif.net people, all the fur affinity people know exactly what I'm talking about. But honestly, it is phenomenal. I have a video. I believe my first issues on it is out where I actually talk about more than just the first issue because it is volume one that dropped that time and I just wanted to talk about it. Top tier, it is my number one. Yes, I know it's going to be kind of a uphill battle for people who don't like anthros. But hey, man, expand your horizons. You don't need to get off on smut. You just need to enjoy it. Walk Me to the Corner is perfect on a human level. Okay? Now, uh, how do I explain it? Is it sexy? No. Technically, should it be on a list of not safe for work comics? I don't think so. It is very much about coming to terms with a new sexuality, or it's not even about sexuality, really. Like, it's, I met this person. This specific person is making me feel feelings. I have a husband. I have had sex with this husband. I have been sexually attracted to the opposing gender. Now, this one person comes along and it makes me feel different. And it doesn't pull any punches. Like, one of my favorite scenes ever is literally where she tells her husband, but you don't, or she tells, okay, 5 more seconds. Short answer, if you want a really good emotional thing about emotions, like literally it's like wholeheartedly emotions, this is the one to do. It's also one you can keep on your shelf without ever feeling like you've got the smut. I better have put it in S tier or I'm a fucking moron. Thank you. And finally, because apparently I forgot Sunstone. Sunstone's the number one on was is just yes, Roja is about a polycule. It is about, this bi dude in the front there having his way with, or being found in the, hey, me and my friend like your vibes kind of relationship. And it's really good. It is definitely a little bit more smuttier than smut, but it shows a very sex positive view without ever making it feel like he is doing something wrong. And I think that is ultimately what to take away from this entire list. This whole list, while people discuss, oh my God, what we're doing is wrong, Unnatural is literally strictly about that. Safe sex also is about that. Sex Criminals doesn't really care. Only Friends even has those but all of these books are really phenomenal in being sex positive without just being, I need to find something to fap to. If you want that, Porn is free and plentiful on the internet. Too much. That being said, go out and back Smut. Number one is still going. I think it's at about, I don't know what, they are almost at their first stretch goal. They are officially funded, but their campaign's not done, and I want to get those stretch goals too, people. Now pretend that I'm showing it up here. And with that, I'm being waved out the damn door because I shouldn't have made this video, period. But since I have, you guys have to all live with it. Now it's time for a 31-hour round trip. I'm AJ Carey, the comic archivist. Let me know what porn let me know what not safe for work comics about sex I missed without just being about porn. Although if you want to talk porn, please go right ahead. I'm no prude. I'm also turning around. Why did I do Google Slides for this? Ah, I'm AJ Carey. Deal with it.